Yes, lads, and welcome back to Shut the FA Cup, the podcast made by the fans for the fans. Hope you've had a lovely week. We're joined today by Luke, James, and Cohen. How are we doing today, lads?
I'm all right, thank you.
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, good. Good. We've got a lot to talk about, so we might as well get straight into it. Before we start, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Shut the FA Cup Pod, and make sure to follow our partners on Twitter too at TopsFTBL. For the best mystery kits the game has ever seen. And use our discount code as well, SHUSH10 for 10% off your mystery shirt. Gets me every time. I'm not sure why it's that. But without further ado, let's start with the top story this week. Something slightly different to what we usually do. We've gone down the route of European football this week, but we feel like, it has to be spoken about. The Mbappe and Haaland saga. A lot of people have been speaking on social media about who's the next Messi versus Ronaldo, and we feel like we found it now, haven't we? Let's begin this week, really. James, this week a good week, for both players. Obviously, Mbappe starting off with a hat trick, and Haaland closely following with an important brace for Dortmund. Do you have like a certain view, like a certain side to pick at the moment, or?
Not right now. I'd say I'm a bit of a neutral right now. They're just both really, really impressive talents. They're both doing remarkable. Mbappe, I think, scoring a hat-trick against Barcelona really shows how much potential and how much talent he has. And then Haaland practically winning the game for Dortmund. It's like both of them are stepping up on the biggest stage in the Champions League, where like millions of people are watching. They're both stepping up. But I can't really choose right now.
It's a difficult one, I think. I think I'd probably sway more towards Mbappe, but I'll get onto that in a little bit. Luke, do you have a different opinion on it?
I do, actually. I think they're both, going to be world-class players. I think Mbappe's done more than Haaland at the minute. Obviously, one more. Probably is the better player at the moment. But I think if you look into the future, I think Haaland will be the best player. I feel like he's different and unnatural to any other player in the world. I've never seen a player so big, 6'4", and be as quick and powerful as he is. It's just, it's scary. It doesn't look real. And how rapid he actually is for his size. Where I think Mbappe is pretty similar to other players, which obviously, no disrespect to him, he's at the minute the better player. But I just think Haaland is so different to everybody else, and that makes him stand out more.
I think, like you said, he's almost an alien, really, isn't he, Haaland? Very different to or definitely. And if you compare him, he's probably, I'd say, more. I guess more maybe the Ronaldo. I think.
Yeah,
Mbappe
I agree.
for me, Mbappe for me is more of the Messi, because I think it seems that Mbappe for him, it's natural. It's sort of come to him, and he started off at Monaco, didn't he? And sort of just naturally just showed everyone how good he was. And with Haaland, it was, still not really that much of a grind. He's definitely got bags of natural talent as well. But I think he's quite similar to Ronaldo in that aspect. I think similar sort of players as well, really, as Ronaldo's got older anyway. But yeah, Cohen, do you have any different views? Do you agree with Luke, or are you more swaying towards Mbappe?
I'm very much like on the fence. I think for me, it's all about their next move, which I feel will decide whether one becomes better than the other. So, for example, if they're both to, let's say, move clubs, whereas, Haaland's obviously at Dortmund, Mbappe at PSG. PSG's, in my opinion, a better team, but I think it's all dependent on if they leave their club at the minute, where that is. Because I know Haaland's been linked with like Manchester United in the past. personally, I think that would ruin his career. Whereas if he was to go somewhere like, I don't know, Spain, I think that could boost his career. So I think it's mainly, to me, on what sort of moves they make.
I agree with that. I agree.
I do think. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. I think the Premier League's always a tough move. You know, whoever you are, it's a tough. It's probably the toughest league in the world, and the toughest league in the world to adapt to when you're a foreign player. And making that move at a young age could really, destroy them. So I agree with Cohen. You've seen a lot of players that are big names that have come to the Premier League and it's not worked for them. Di Maria, Memphis Depay, a lot of players. And I think if I was them, I would stay, in a foreign league, Spain, Germany, probably until they get that bit more experience. And then in the prime, I think a Premier League move would be the right option. The worst thing they can do is make the Premier League move, too early.
100%.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I sort of disagree on Mbappe's front. I think that, the man's won a World Cup. He's done it on the biggest stage of them all. Okay, he's done it in the Champions League with PSG, but this week in particular, scored a hat-trick against teams in the world, whether they're struggling or not. Still Barcelona with Messi in it. I don't know. I think that if a chance did come along for Mbappe to play in the Premier League, I think he'd take it by storm. And I don't doubt Haaland either. The only thing for me, is just nowadays it's with money, isn't it? And there's only a handful of teams that can really come in and actually afford these players. Because I think if you look in today's market, it's absolutely ridiculous. But these players are probably going to be valued at about 300 million. And it's crazy to think that they're going to be, a player, in my opinion, shouldn't be worth any more than 100 quid in a packet of port scratchings. But, that's how it is. And for me, I have a slightly different view. A few, obviously, I think I've not taken anything away from Haaland. He puts up some unbelievable numbers. I think it's 25 games and like 24 goals and something like that, and it's crazy. And with Mbappe, 29 games, 21 goals, 9 assists. Like I said, he's already won a World Cup. I think that for me, the only thing with Mbappe is he just seems to be slightly more level-headed. I think Haaland's has that. He just has that potential, from what I've seen, to be a little bit of a loose cannon. That's what I was looking for.
He reminds me a lot of Ibrahimovic. In his interviews.
Yeah, that's who I'd compare him to.
Yeah, got quite like an ego, but I guess Ronaldo does, and it worked for him.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt in his talent. I just think that I like Mbappe as I just think he's brilliant. I think he's for everything he's done so far in his career. If he retired today, people would still talk about how amazing his career's been. So for him to, how old is he now? 20, is it? Something
22,
like that?
Mbappe
21
is.
maybe? 22, there you go. 22 years old. He's got probably at least another decade in him. Not even anywhere near his prime, really, at the moment. And it's the same with Haaland as well, but I just think Mbappe is unbelievable. And it would be an absolute dream to see either of them play in the Premier League for me.
If they was to go to the Premier League, say, what teams would you see either of them playing for? Obviously, Haaland spoke about his relations to Leeds and Man City. Mbappe, I think there's been rumours of him with Liverpool, but who do you actually think they would go to?
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
It's going to be obviously one of the big clubs.
City are obviously one.
Yeah.
City, Liverpool.
I'd probably only go. There's probably only three for me that I'd say.
City,
I'd
Liverpool,
say
Man
City.
United.
Chelsea could probably afford him, and I think United. I don't think Liverpool would, because I don't think Liverpool are the sort of team that tend to always splash ridiculous. And I know you're going to talk about Van Dijk, but I could be wrong, but I can't really think of anyone else that they spent.
They've got to replace Firmino at some point now.
Yeah, if they sell Mane, Firmino, I don't think they'll sell Salah, but if they did sell Mane and sold Firmino, then the cash is there. And imagine replacing them too with a player like that.
Mbappe or Haaland.
Because they bought Van Dijk from the money that they got from Coutinho, so they're not
Mm-hmm.
really much of an investment club. They're just buy players off profit from the sales.
The money's there.
The players.
The money is there, though.
Yeah, the money is clearly there, but we are talking a substantial amount of money for either of them.
It's hard to judge, but I think.
And the thing is, as well, is someone like, if you're Mbappe or Haaland, you look at who they're playing with at the moment. Haaland's playing with the likes of Jadon Sancho, one of the best wingers in the world, and Mbappe's obviously playing with the likes of Neymar. Obviously, Messi's been linked to PSG this week. Some big names playing for either of them. And I think for a team like Liverpool to sign one of those players, they'd have to still have big names. But I feel like, because like you said, James, with the investment, I can't see Liverpool being an attractive club for a player like Mbappe without the likes of Mane, Salah, who they probably would have to sell to be able to fund a big signing like that.
If this was 2 years ago, Liverpool had just won the Champions League, am I correct? I'd be pretty confident.
Yeah.
I think it was. I'd be pretty confident if they've won the Champions League, then you could see it. But I think the decline of Liverpool this season as well has surely got to be off-putting for Mbappe.
I've got a thought. Lewandowski is 32, I think. Bayern are known for buying players from Dortmund. Can you see Haaland maybe going to Bayern in a couple of years?
That's a really good shout.
Well, that's an interesting one as well, isn't it?
Well, it makes sense, definitely.
If you look at how history's gone, it looks very very interesting.
That would probably be the best move for Haaland's career, in my opinion, because he knows the league well. He's thriving in that division, so he won't have to adapt, to the league. I think that would probably be his best move.
It's only a step up as well.
Yeah.
I think with Mbappe as well, he spoke about in an interview somewhere about him wanting to play for Real Madrid, and with Ronaldo, with Real Madrid right now, they're lacking really a Ronaldo figure. That's why they're really struggling. So I could see Real Madrid going in for Mbappe like in the next year or so.
We'll say Real Madrid and Mbappe and Bayern and Haaland. They're the two I'm going to go for.
I think an amazing one for me is as a neutral football fan. Obviously it'd be a dream to see any of these play in the Premier League. But for me, the big dream for me would be to be able to see Haaland at one team, Mbappe at the other, Barcelona, Real Madrid, an El Clasico game. That would be an absolute dream. I know it's probably unrealistic because you look at the financial state of Barcelona at the moment. But obviously, if Messi is to leave this summer, they've got to bring someone else to replace him. So I think you can't necessarily take them out of the equation.
What I was thinking, imagine them together, Haaland and Mbappe. Very unlikely anyone could be able to afford it, but just imagine that link up.
That would just be a cheat code.
I think.
Do you think they clash though? Both arguably going to be the best footballers in the world, both in the same team.
No, I don't. I think
you look at PSG. So PSG, right? They want Messi, obviously. So they have the funds. They have funds to sign players. I know this is highly unlikely, but could you imagine this is the front three in a 4-3-3? Left wing Neymar, centre forward / striker Haaland, and on the right Mbappe, because Mbappe does tend to play on the right a little bit for PSG. But could you imagine that front three?
That's naughty. That's naughty.
You'd expect him to win the Champions League and pretty much everything. I think I'd actually, if I was in charge of PSG, and I was looking, and you could bring Messi in and you could bring Haaland in, I'd choose Haaland every day of the week, because I just think of our young years and the potential. You've got to think of long term when you're spending that amount of money. I think Haaland would be a better option. I honestly would.
I agree with that because he's only 20. Messi's only got 1 or 2 more seasons left in him.
A world class
for the future. Yeah, definitely. For the future, is a much more sensible and investment.
So, do you agree on that, Ben? Cohen?
I don't know. I think a difficult one. I think Mbappe definitely already has World Cup tax on him, so he's immediately going to cost more. And it's not anything else. It's not. I'm not doubting Haaland's ability. I'm not saying that he should be worth more or anything. You know, I've already made my opinion clear on what money should be paid. I think I do agree that I think maybe for someone like, I think it depends really, because I've seen Haaland do numbers for teams that aren't great. You know what I mean? But Dortmund and at times this season haven't been playing particularly great, and he's got them out of the mud. PSG, on the other hand, are a team who, you know, they're surrounded by good players no matter what. You know, Neymar out, Di Maria out. They still had a ridiculous team against Barcelona. I think it just depends on the team really, who comes in for them, because I think it is all about how someone gels. You know, like you said about clashing. I think the thing is, Haaland's probably got a bit of a potential to clash with some other big players. Could you imagine someone like him and Pogba, maybe something like that? Like, I could see that not working.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
Like,
There's two egos clashing together.
yeah. I think you have to look at the bigger picture as well, like, because that would be something that would massively affect it. I mean, you look at how Cavani's just sort of fit in so well. It was always a bit of a risky move with the amount of egos that are in there, but
probably
he's fit in amazingly at United. But it was a big risk.
Yeah, I think the bloke's 39 now, but you look at Ibrahimovic, he's 38, 39. Imagine him and Haaland up front together with the egos, like, Jesus Christ. It'd be...
They are spitting image as well.
It'd be like they're against each other.
Obviously, being from different Scandinavian, countries as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I could. The amount of fights Ibrahimovic has had with like teammates as well. Like, I could. You can pretty much see what would happen.
I think Haaland will follow in that footstep of kind of, you look at his interviews and he's very much like Ibrahimovic, from a personality point of view.
See, I was thinking that because Ibrahimovic was, I wouldn't say in the shadow, but he's never like at the top like Messi and Ronaldo were. But again, his country weren't like a big nation, the same as Haaland.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it's hard to say like Mbappe's better because, people say like because he's won a World Cup. Yet Haaland's never going to win the World Cup with Norway. So I think it's really hard to look at it that way when Mbappe's got like probably one of the best teams in national football around him, whereas Haaland hasn't.
Mbappe is more of a platform to be better because of his national team, and he, in my opinion, he's playing in a better team now than Haaland is. But
100%.
It just depends, on the moves in the future. It's going to be exciting to see where they go.
Football's still looking up.
Let's just sort of finish this topic on. I'll just sort of go around to everyone. If say I'll go to you first, Luke. Say, you get 250 million in the bank, Sheffield United. You get an investment. You get told you get one player. You've had your scouting round and you're down to two players that you want, your two main targets. They're both interested in a move. Haaland or Mbappe, who are you choosing?
I think he would suit us better. I think Mbappe, I see more of it as a wide attacker. I think Haaland would be a better option. I think he's got more qualities. He's better in the air. He's stronger. He's more of a poacher. I just think he would suit our team more than Mbappe would, because we rarely get in behind, which is obviously Mbappe's qualities. We rarely really dribble with the ball. Again, another Mbappe quality where we get the ball out wide and we cross it. So I think Haaland would suit that system. Suit the Wilder system more than Mbappe.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard Mbappe wouldn't suit a team, but I'm only joking. James, Villa fan, Mbappe or Haaland?
I'm actually going to go with Haaland myself here. I think. It's difficult. It is difficult, but I'm going to go with Haaland. He's got 2 years younger on him. and I just feel like it'll be better suited to our system. We've got if obviously Haaland and Mbappe, sorry, if obviously he's going to play on wide, we've got like players like Grealish for that, and then I just think Haaland will be able to just suit us better. I kind of like fluff it up there, but
fair enough. Grealish is obviously another talent who, in my opinion, is world class. I don't know if he's maybe up there with them, but he's definitely world class and would make a cheat code. Imagine him, with his crosses and the set pieces to Haaland. That would be ridiculous. But Cohen, all sorts of trouble we're in at the moment. 250 million Gaio's given us. Who are you bringing in, Mbappe or Haaland?
I've got to be honest, I'd rather keep Nathan Redmond. No, I'm joking. Probably Haaland. I think we miss that sort of aerial threat up front, sort of bully sort of striker. I mean, Che Adams is, he gives it a go, but it's nowhere near Haaland. So I'd probably have to say Haaland.
Yeah, I think I'll probably stick with Danny. I don't know. For me, I'd probably go Mbappe. I think, a little bit more experience. He's someone for me. He's he seems a little bit level-headed, and I just like Mbappe. I just really like him. That's not taking anything away from Haaland, but there's just so many qualities to Mbappe's game. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, that's I guess that sort of covered. Let us know what you think down below. Who Mbappe, Haaland. Who would you take? We might as well stay in Europe. Well, Champions League anyway. A big win in midweek for Liverpool. Is this a sort of opportunity, James, for Liverpool to take their poor form in the Premier League recently, and sort of utilise it? Big Merseyside derby on the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely a healthy distraction from the Premier League. It gives a chance for the players to get confidence back, get some momentum back again, and that win against Leipzig, it definitely helped them. Salah, Mane both scoring. It's definitely going to help them for this big game at the weekend.
Yeah, and it was a very professional performance by them as well. I can't say I actually watch a lot of Liverpool, but I've watched them recently, and obviously I saw them fall apart against Leicester. And, I worried about them going into this thinking they could be in a bit of trouble here. They're hurting, but yeah, they look good. They look really good, really comfortable. Another conversation as well that I think has to be spoken about. First of all, did everyone here watch the game? Cohen, did you watch it?
Oh, I didn't.
No.
I saw the highlights of the game.
Well, one thing I want to say, and to anyone else who was watching, Upamecano, he was, this is a player who, he's been linked with Manchester United. Has he gone to Bayern Munich now? I've heard that a deal's done, but anyway, he's been linked with them. Chelsea, Manchester United, Real Madrid, all these big teams, and he looked very, very ordinary. He just made so many mistakes. You feel like they've probably dodged a bullet there, Man United, by not bringing Upamecano in. But I think a good performance by Liverpool, to be fair. And Cohen, do you think going into obviously a big Merseyside derby on Saturday, I believe, do you think that's going to really help their Premier League run, or do you think it might sort of cancel it out?
See, I worry for Liverpool sometimes. I think with they've lost Van Dijk, which I know you can say they've signed 2 new centre backs, and it shouldn't be an excuse, but you can't replace Van Dijk. His leadership qualities, just in general, he's probably one of, if not the best defenders in the world. So you can tell, like, obviously all season they've missed him. I think the added pressure of the fact I don't think Liverpool have lost to Everton in 10 years. I think the added pressure of the fact that they're going to want to keep that up. I think, you know, it's going to be a tight game
as well, who this year have, competed. They've been at the top. They're at the top for a few weeks, and they're definitely no mugs. I think I saw in the news today Calvert-Lewin's back, which is obviously huge for them. And it's definitely a game to watch. I think it's going to be an exciting one. But go slightly, I want to say higher up the table. I can't say I know. But I think one thing that we haven't spoken about, which we have to start talking about, is West Ham this season. Unbelievable. Luke, obviously as a Sheffield United fan, you witnessed West Ham on the weekend. Just how good are they at the moment? Okay.
Really good. I think we made them look better than they are because we was awful. I think the scoreline was inaccurate. I think even though it looked like we got hammered, I don't think we got hammered. We made them look better than they were. Obviously, they are an amazing team. Lingard was good. He's a top player. We couldn't really cope with him. And I think they're really good defensively. They was way better than us. We're nowhere near their level.
Say that about Jesse Lingard. It's another player who obviously last week, if you haven't listened, go ahead and listen to episode 3 or 4. To be honest with you, I'm not on top of it, but it's about the England squad and what we believe the England squad is. And someone that we didn't speak about was Jesse Lingard, and he's a player who has started here at West Ham and looked like someone who's really going at Manchester United and saying this is why I should have been playing. James, have you watched much West Ham? And if you have, how good does Jesse Lingard look at the moment?
Obviously, I saw his debut against Villa, and he was phenomenal in that game. He really instituted all the play. He showed for the ball. He really showed that attacking drive that West Ham needed. And I think if he can continue that, there's no reason why they can't get in Europe, and Lingard could be in with a shout making the Euros.
Because when he was actually at Manchester United, obviously the news came out. I remember we had this about would you take Lingard? I can't actually remember what you said, but I remember being adamant I did not want Lingard. I didn't want him anywhere near the team. I didn't think he suited our system. I didn't think he was really good enough at the time. But now looking at him play, wow, we could have done with him really, couldn't we?
Yeah, I think I'll be honest, I'm surprised at how well he's done for West Ham. I think people, especially me, got what's the word? I guess how do I put it? When he was at United, obviously, I know he was going through a lot, and he wasn't playing much. I think a lot of fans felt he maybe lost, the talent that we first saw when he first broke into the United side, like 2015, sort of Jesse Lingard, and but I think he's found himself again. Now he's at West Ham. I think he seems a lot happier, a lot more confident. I know he wanted to take that penalty against Sheffield United the other night, which Declan Rice took off him. But I mean,
don't remind me.
but joining a new team and wanting to take a penalty, arguing with the captain about taking a penalty, it just shows that he's got so much more confidence than what he had before. I think that's the confidence I've always said is vital when playing football.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we could have really used a bit, really done with him. He's a cracking player.
It helps him when the pressure's off when he's not. I'd say the top 3 biggest clubs in the world, Man United. You look worldwide how massive they are. I think the pressure's off a lot more when you're at a West Ham, because I know how toxic that Man United fan base can be. So I think it has a lot of weights off his shoulders since the move, and obviously he's performed well. Like I said, we made West Ham look better than they was, I reckon. But Lingard was phenomenal, and he was their best player by quite a stretch. You know, he was the only threat they had going forward. So, yeah, you know, fair play to him.
Yeah,
He's really showing Man U what he can do.
yeah, definitely, and he's obviously been instrumental since he's come in. But I think another man who deserves a lot of credit in the sense of how good West Ham have been this year is David Moyes. Is someone who, you know, it didn't work for him at Manchester United. It didn't work for him at Real Sociedad. You know, he's had a really tough time. It's his first time at West Ham. Managers, you know, the managers, the fans, they wanted him out. You know, he wasn't a popular the last few places he went. Obviously, everyone knew how good a manager he was at Everton. Um, but I think it's really good to see, you know, people like, you know, Lingard and Moyes linking up. I think was it Moyes who gave Lingard his debut? I can't really remember at Man United, but I know that they obviously have a good relationship, and I think he's definitely someone who deserves a lot of credit, Moyes, because I think he's done brilliantly. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I completely agree. He's done a remarkable thing at West Ham. I think he's one of the reasons why Lingard is doing so well at West Ham. You know, he can get the best out of players like Lingard and get them performing again. You know, he's given them that motivation, and he's done remarkable things. You know, he's got players like Soufal for 5 mil. He's got him playing amazing, one of the best fullbacks in the league this season. He's got you know, 2 incredible CDMs in Soucek and Rice. He's just building a great team there at West Ham. And he deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, and they're definitely not a team who, you know, you can only see there for a year. They look like a really serious team who, for me, could be there for a long, long time. You know, they keep hold of Rice, not really anyone else to go after. You know, they might even have a punt of being able to get Lingard on a permanent, which would be amazing. And there's people like Ben Rama as well, who hasn't really started that well, and everyone knows how good he is. So I feel like when someone like him starts getting started, and, you know, get some goals in, then it's going to be amazing to see. But yeah, I
Jared
think
Bowen as well.
West Ham definitely. So yeah, Jared Bowen, another one,
Deserves
you
a lot
know,
of credit.
only scored a
Watched
couple
him.
this year, but a serious
Yeah,
player.
I've watched him when he was at Hull, obviously when Sheffield United were at Championship and Hull was. And he was always a player that looked like a Premiership player, even though he wasn't. He just outshone everyone else when he played in that Hull team. And, you know, I think when he hits his prime, he'll be brilliant. Him and Ben Rama, fantastic recruitment from West Ham, top players from the Championship.
So looking at where West Ham are on the table, looking at some of the fixtures they've got next, I can't say I'm overly sure on who they've got next, but, you know, with the fixtures they've got left, Cohen, I'll start with you. Where do you think West Ham are going to finish?
I think I said in our predictions video that they were going to finish 6th. I think, yeah, and I stand by that. I still think they'll finish 6th. You know, I don't think they'll drop out at, you know, the Europa League positions, but I think I just don't think they have enough to just push on for Champions League.
James?
Well, you know, originally I put them in 6th when we did our remaining predictions for the rest of the season, but obviously with how inconsistent the top 6 teams have been with Spurs, Everton, you know, they seem to be 1 week winning, next week losing. There's no reason why they can't get Champions League. I think they're well within their rights to be up there. I think big game this weekend against Tottenham for them. Obviously, in the reverse fixture, they came back from 3-0 down. That was remarkable. I think, yeah, there's definitely no reason why they can't, you know, even can't go for that 4th spot.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
Luke, whereabouts do you think?
I think I originally said either 6th or 7th when we did the prediction video. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. and I still stick by that. I was edging more towards 7th when we did it last week, but after them playing against us, not playing particularly at their best and still breezing past us, shows they can get good results even when they're not playing the best. So I'm gonna have to say 6th.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, boys. I think we're all on the same page, really. I'd say a 6th or a 7th, probably. I think, like James said, there's absolutely no reason why they can't push on and get top 4. I just feel like maybe this year, like you said, obviously I didn't realise, but Tottenham, massive game. They're another team who really probably looking around 5th, 6th at the moment. And it's it's going to be a difficult push for them, but they've got some really, really serious points already this year. And I think they deserve to be exactly where they are. But yeah, I think that sort of covers the West Ham topic anyway. And I think it's probably a good point to end anyway. It's the sort of the main stories anyway. So yeah, thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram too. On Twitter, we're on 98 followers at the moment, so it'd be amazing to be able to get to 100 by the end of the week. Leave us some feedback. What can we improve on? What do you want us to speak about next week? Have a great rest of the week, a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Thank you for listening, guys.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.
Cheers, guys.